Well, good morning. We're here for another installation of Black Prosperity and Wealth, and today I'm with my good friend, a young man that I've known ever since I came to Miami, and he is a dynamo. My guest is one of these folk who unapologetically has always helped my community, the Black community, and I'm going to say that he's one of the very few architects who built it from nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, the president, CEO of Neighbors and Neighbors Association, and also my big brother who has founded an organization called the Circle of Brotherhood, Leroy Jones. Leroy, good morning.
Good morning, my brother. Good morning, man. Thank you for having me, man. Thank you for having me.
Well, listen, I can't tell you that I'm excited about you being here. I can tell you that I'm elated. And the reason why, man, is because, listen, you've done a good job with Nana. And I'm still going to say that you're a well-kept secret.
Well, so thank you, man. And, so next year will be 30 years since I founded Nana. So the founder of it is not the president anymore. I was the first president, but I have always been the founder, president, and now executive director. So I've been the only founder, of course, not the only president, but I have always been the only executive director. Next year will mark 30 years, man.
Wow.
Nana been around. You
Wow.
know? And the Circle of Brotherhood, I'm the lead organizer for the Circle of Brotherhood. Just so, happy to be a part of well, I say, some people say small organization, but I'm saying growing men's organization.
Yeah.
That dealing with the social ills of our community. So I'm just happy to be a part of those two groups, as well as the director of Tools for Change.
Okay, so listen, I know everything you're up to, but our folk don't. Tell me about Nana first, and that's Neighbors and Neighbors Association. Yeah. Tell me about that.
So, Neighbors and Neighbors Association came about, my mom and my sister used to own, my family owned a small grocery store in Model City, Liberty City. And my sister one day approached me and told me how the small businesses in the neighborhood was talking about how nice our store beginning to look and growing. And I got approached one Sunday, and I never forget how many it was. It was 11 small business owners came to my family store and asked me to consider helping them with their businesses. And I had no idea. I had never been a part of a organization at that time. And didn't know what politics or elected officials was.
Oh, Lord. That was a long time ago.
Never been a part, of a board. And so, of course, I was willing, because if they seen something good I was doing, of course, I was willing to share that. And out of that, birth Neighbors and Neighbors Association. And so me and a couple of the other grocery store owners, Mr. Sherlon Smith, came up with the name Neighbors and Neighbors Association, short for Nana. So he was the owner of Slasher's Printing Center. Slasher's Printing Center on 95th and 7th Avenue.
Yeah,
he actually came up with the name of Neighbors and Neighbors Association.
Yeah.
So it's funny how it really started, though, because when they asked me to start having meetings with the businesses, I started doing flyers and passing them out to try to get them to come to my family store. And I wasn't getting the attraction that I thought I was going to get. And so I remember the last day I was doing some flyers, and I was saying to myself, well, if I don't get a crowd of people to come this time, then I'm leaving this alone, man. I was spending the money out of my pocket.
Right.
And as I'm walking, as I'm making having the last set of flyers printed, as I'm walking out of the door, and I already made my mind up, this was going to be the last set.
Right.
Mr. Ainsworth Smith, that's his legal name. Mr. Slasher called me and say, "Hey, ain't you the young brother that be passing out the flyers about meeting with the business?" I say, "Yeah." He said, "You know what? I don't care what kind of printing you need done. You come here and we're gonna do it for you, no cost."
Oh man!
Now think about it.
Yeah.
The day that I said I wasn't gonna do it anymore.
Yeah. He says
he stopped me as I'm going out of the door.
Right.
And now I can't stop now.
Yeah.
Because now somebody else see the good in it.
So mid-90s, 93, 94, somewhere in there?
In the 90s, in the mid-90s, somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So man, how many businesses have you helped, Leroy?
So, of course, doing this in the course of so many years, 30 years next year, it has been, I would be probably safe to say 15,000 or more, easy. Just think about it. So I've done commercial rehab, exterior, interior commercial rehab.
Right.
We've done over 90 of those.
Wow.
Easy.
Wow.
Then the Mom and Pop Small Business Grant Program.
Yeah.
Thanks to former Commissioner Barbara Carey Schuler, who entrusted me.
I was going to ask you, man, where did that start with Carey Schuler?
Yeah. So she dedicated. She went to the commission at this time. I think she was the chair of the county commission, and she said, "Look, my district is the most underserved district.
Sure.
And I'm putting in a resolution." Or she presented a resolution for some state of emergency funding.
Right.
And they awarded her. And one of the programs she wanted to create out of that was the Mom and Pop Small Business Grant Program. Of course, we didn't have a name at that time.
Right.
But she saw and was reading the things in the Miami Times that we was doing, and had a staff reach out to me and say, if you can get 30 businesses to come to a training for 5 days, a week straight, and nobody late, then I'm going to dedicate some money for the small business community. And only one business was late, 5 minutes, for the whole week. And a month later, she set aside $50,000. Then 2 weeks later, she put another $22,000 in it. So it started in her district. And 4 years after that, it became a countywide program. But it's offered in all 13 county commission districts. And November of this year will mark 25 years that the Mom and Pop Grant Program been in existence.
Well, I've had the privilege, man, of sizing up and grading those grants.
Right.
And it's funny because as you sit there, you realize, man, we don't have enough money.
Right.
Because a lot of these small businesses, this is their passion, right? It reminds me of something that a guy by the name of Kedar Massenberg, who was the CEO of Arista Records and up in New York, big time record executive. He used to say that in the record business, you have your entire life to write your first hit, and in 1 year to write your second. And I thought about it. I said, wow, that's how business is, right?
Right.
So now you have in front of you, because when I would come and grade those grants, and I was, real pleased that you allowed for me to be on one of those committees. But I learned a lot because these weren't businesses, these folk.
Right.
This is their life, man.
That's their life, man. That's their life.
And then you're sitting down and you're trying to make a decision around how much money they need, and you realize some of these folk are so passionate that you don't have enough money for them.
Right.
And I think that I realized that we still have a better job to do in Miami to support these businesses. And I know that you've always pushed small business, and by the way, we don't really have a minority business program. So what do you think about that?
So, it's funny. So when I first started helping small businesses, all I knew was small Black businesses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I didn't venture into other neighborhoods trying to see how they operate their business.
Yeah.
And so my goal was to assist the small black businesses because that was the neighborhood I was in.
Right.
And that was the people who I was serving. Until I started getting noticed for the Mom and Pop Grant Program. And people, businesses from other communities coming, having an interest in what I was doing. And I'm talking about all other kind of nationalities of people. And so you can't blame me for wanting to help my own because that was my neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But in the course of doing this almost 30 years, I can say that most of them start off with a humble beginning.
Yeah.
With either taking money out of their 401k plan
Right.
for their job.
That's right.
Or their savings, or borrowing money from friends, or taking out mortgages or loans on their properties.
Right.
Because they have a dream.
Yeah.
And that dream is going into business.
Yep.
And I know we all say owning a piece of property is the American dream. But if you don't have an income, then you can't own a property unless somebody pass it down to you.
Yeah, which is rare in our community anyway, yeah.
And so I tell you, like, in my course of this and having a program that is a county-wide program, having worked in all 13 county commission districts, having worked with any type of business that you can name, and any type of neighborhood you can think of, it's not a neighborhood in this county that I ride through or anybody can ride through that can't see a business that have not been touched by Neighbors and Neighbors Association services, you know? And so think about this. In August 14, and anybody can Google it, August 14, 2014, the New York Times did a study on small programs that help provide financial assistance to small businesses. And I think they picked 6 programs in the country. And my program was one.
Wow.
And so if you Google the New York Times,
how about that?
August 14, 2014. So it's easy to remember.
That's 14, yeah.
And put in Mom and Pop Grant Program, Mom and Pop Small Business Grant Program, the article will come up. Yeah. And I think at that time, the New York Times was the second most read newspaper in the world.
Yeah, I mean, and if it's not now, it still is.
Right?
I mean,
in the world.
Yeah, that's right.
So think about it. You know, here's a man of color that grew up in underserved neighborhood.
Right.
That because the community believed in him, gave him an opportunity to show his value, and can boast that a program that he helped to create got national attention by the second most read newspaper in the world. Yeah. You know?
I mean, you know, and from that though, it's amazing. I mean, it spurred a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
Needless to say, I mean, it did wonders for your reputation because listen, man, staying power is everything.
Yeah.
Everybody can preach a good sermon. Yeah. But can you live one?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so when you take a look at who Leroy Jones has become because of it, I mean, you've come a long way pulling up your own bootstraps, though, man.
So let me tell you, so you said it, you hit it on the head when you say, you know, you take all your life to make that one hit record, but then you got to duplicate it, and you only got 1 year to duplicate it.
That's right.
And so staying power is everything, you know, because, you know, you can be destined to do something one time, but how long can you stay at it?
Right.
And, you know, I think the longevity came with me because I was surrounded by other business owners who believed in me, right? Who gave me the opportunity and who supported me. Right. Right?
Right.
But most importantly, the community, man. You know, because I often say that everybody who I've come in touch with or came in touch with in the community made me who I am.
Yeah.
The good and the bad,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Made me who I am.
Right.
And let me tell you, when I first got my first shot, it was people who thought that I wasn't worthy of that shot because of the way I come from.
Yeah.
And I was determined not to disappoint the people who put their trust in me, right? And I'm so proud that everybody who was there from day one, the small group that believed, and the group that was the naysayers and doubted I could do it, that all of them is alive and was alive to witness me become successful because of their belief and confidence in me.
It's funny. I mean, it doesn't matter where I go. When I can say small business, and they say, "Oh yeah, man, we need to support small business," and I say mom and pop, it's Mr. Jones, right? I mean, it's like your brand is synonymous with that. But it's helped you to do other things now, which and by, you're making. I guess respectfully, I'm gonna call it a transition, but it's not. I think it's an addition to.
Okay.
Right. So, you and I are doing business together.
Right.
Right. We, and so you're building houses, man. Tell me about that.
So it's
And by the way, listen, Nehemiah.
Yeah, he's great, right? Nehemiah Davis. Yeah.
Man.
Nehemiah been doing housing for 40 years probably. Yeah,
he's smart.
He know the business, man.
He does.
He's done multifamily, residential.
Yeah, he knows.
He's very good.
Yeah.
So, I don't see myself as a person that's trying to do everything. I see myself as a person that's trying to fill a gap of the boy that's not that nobody is that needs somebody to step in.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
So, because nobody can be successful alone, right?
No.
And so, like me, I love competition. I thrive off of competition. So I don't shy away from competition, right?
Yeah, well, we know you don't.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the things that I'm involved in is not particularly that I sought out to be involved in. It always because somebody came to me and thought I can contribute to it. Like Nana, I didn't think about doing Nana.
Right.
The community businesses came to me and say, you know what? You did that with your family store. You can help us.
Yeah.
You can show us how to do it.
Right
you know
on.
what I mean?
Right on.
I didn't sort out to get into housing. People in the community came to see and say, Leroy, you know what? Man, you're doing good with this and you're doing that. And you've been here all this time. You think, why don't you try to get into the housing thing? And so it wasn't like something I sought out to do, but I'm in it. I'm happy we're in it. We done built some houses that local people helped build.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, which listen, for me, that's everything.
Local contractor.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
we got 10 properties now that's under construction. Thank you all for, allowing us to apply.
Yeah.
For some funding.
Yeah.
Through the BBI.
That's right.
Program.
Yeah.
The Small Business Innovative Fund program.
Exactly. Right.
So, and we're looking forward to getting these houses completed and getting people in them.
Listen, housing is key, man. And for a lot of different reasons. One is because our community's changing, man. And I'm gonna say too damn fast.
Yeah.
Right? Because our children need a neighborhood. Right? I tell people all the time, yes, they need a house, they need a neighborhood. And we gotta build neighborhoods so that these children can have the ability to grow up in a safe environment. That's a big deal.
So something that I pride myself in been working on the last couple of years is so in our neighborhood coming up as a kid, and I'm gonna tell you, when I was young, almost everything in Liberty City was owned by people of color.
Yeah.
Everything in Overtown was owned by people of color.
Yeah.
And what I think where the ball got dropped is that nobody educated and taught our parents and their parents about leaving a blueprint for their children.
There you go. Don't sell grandmama's house.
So they passed away without having wills or revocable trusts or trusts.
That's right.
And so as they died off, they left with the knowledge of the things that was owned by them. So can you imagine your grandmother owning 3 properties and nobody else in the family knew who hold the mortgage, if it was a mortgage hold, or how the taxes need to be paid and how much there was, and she passed away and nobody knew it. And she had money in the bank, 2 bank accounts. Nobody knew. Right? The bank ain't gonna reach out and call you and say, hey, we know your grandmama died. She left $100,000 here.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
So since right before COVID, I've been on a mission. Every year since COVID, I've been having workshops. We had Zoom when COVID was out about educating our community about creating a blueprint for your loved ones to follow when you pass.
There you go.
And getting a will and or a trust. You know, because just having a will don't keep the stuff from going to probate.
No, you got to go. They just read it. That's right. That's right.
It don't leave it from going.
That's
and
right.
you want for it not to go to probate.
Oh Lord, I mean,
because once you go to probate, the attorneys got to get paid.
That's right. Everybody got to get paid.
Then usually taxes, the stuff is split up. And now the value is gone. The value is only valuable when you keep it together.
That's right. That's right.
So if you give this family member this family member this, you're going to have some lose it, some sell, and the value is gone. But if you keep it together, generation after generation can live from it. And so now I know it really wasn't their fault because they didn't know. Right? You can't blame somebody if they don't know.
No, that's true, man. They were very quiet. I mean, you know,
they didn't know, right?
Yeah, they did.
And so they worked in these businesses and they sent their children out to college. And by the time the children got ready to come back, it wasn't the same type of business. It didn't look the same. It didn't smell the same. The paint was falling off the wall. And the children didn't realize that, hey, it looked like this because the sacrifice they made for them, right? And now they don't want to come back.
That's right.
Right? Because they done got this education and they don't see the wealth in it. They don't see the value in it, you know?
Yeah.
And so
I mean, it breaks your heart. You're right, and I think that's what's happened, man. I mean, you know, you have so many of them that don't, and a lot of communities are going through it. And now it seems to be plaguing Miami because there's this false narrative that's being built that says that, you know, it's okay for our communities to change in such a way that they don't look like anybody anymore.
So it's not okay. It's not. And you know, so I tell you something I learned from somebody that told me one time, and this was a person that was not a color, right? So they called me to their business and they said to me, and I didn't know them, and they say, they've been watching me, you know, at the commission meetings and reading about me in a newspaper. And what they loved about me was that I treated everybody like they was important, right? Until all the races realized that all of us is important and all of us contribute and can contribute.
That's right.
And that we have been the biggest contribute because you build a house one block at a time. And if you don't start with that one block, the house don't get built, right?
That's right.
Right? And so one grain of sand, you know, you can't produce sand if you don't have that one grain, right?
Well, listen, man, we believe it or not, we're out of time.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, you know, it's funny how fast it goes by.
Right.
We got to have you back because I want to talk about the Circle of Brotherhood, man. And I want to learn more about kind of, you know, what's next for Leroy Jones, right? We 62,
right?
You know, and I want to say, you know, so what's the rest of your life going to look like? So it's been another installation of Black Prosperity and Wealth. I guess Leroy Jones, my dear friend and brother. Man, I love you, man.
Hey, I love you too, man. I'm so proud of you, man. Like, we go so way back, man. And you know what I like about you? You always been consistent and being the same person, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I appreciate
always been approachable. You know what I mean? Always handle yourself in a professional way, you know. And like I said, I learn from everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So thank you for me being able to watch you, whether you know it or not, and learn from
Well,
you as
listen,
well.
we're a team,
No,
brother. Thanks,
you,
man.
Thank
All
you.
right, all right, all right. 10:25. You can get to the spot.